Welcome to Paleo Pines, a cozy farming game. However, this game has dinosaurs. These dinosaurs are capable of helping you farm, explore the world, and just being cute companions. I have 100 days to help Lucky find the rest of his family and complete some extra goals. Will I succeed? Let's find out. After making my character, it was then time to head to my ranch. Although, it did look a little worse for where it was very disheveled and I was going to need to clear this up. Thankfully, I did have Lucky, my parasaur, alongside me to go about doing this. So we dismounted Lucky and we decided to try and give him a boop on the snoot, seeing if I could pat him in the process. Thankfully, this was the tutorial, so I did get to work on completing the tutorial for Lucky, and it started with the pat. After the pat, we then needed to feed him a treat of a carrot, and he got the carrot. It was then time to clear the debris in front of my house so that I could actually get access to it and go to sleep for the night. So with Lucky in tow, we managed to clear the debris. We were going to need to do this all over the farm. It was then time to go to sleep, completing my first day on the farm. The next day, Lucky was happy to see me and greeted me in the fields in the morning. However, it was time to meet some of the people that lived in Paleo Pines. Now, these guys had their own dinosaurs as well, and we were introduced to Marie and Owen as well as their dinos. Now, Marie did have a Utahraptor and Owen did have a Gallimimus as well. And we got a journal off of Owen in order to record and document some of the findings that we would find throughout Paleo Pines. We got the journal. Gives us our time, season, the weather. Lucky needs attention. Lucky, you're so needy. Here you go, have some herbivore food. Enjoy. So with the basic tutorial done, it was then time to start clearing some of the debris located around the ranch. Now, thankfully I did have Lucky, and Lucky's ability was that he was a sprinter and a debris clearer. So we got to work clearing out the debris when we got our first level up on Lucky, increasing his maximum stamina. After clearing out some debris, I then made my way out of the ranch into a Viridian Valley, and this place looked super nice, and we had a bunch of extra dinosaurs located throughout Viridian Valley that we were going to have to check out. I also got the rundown on how the journal works, so I would be documenting pretty much anything that I found that I could put in the journal. However, I wouldn't be showing it through the video. It wasn't really that exciting. Yo, look at these little dudes. Are they Cjthecheesedj? Is that what those guys are? That's what they look like. Oh, we got an old lady out here. I then met Granny Agami, who invited me into the town center. Now, the town centre was called Pebble Plaza, and there was quite a few different shops around it. We met Marlowe, the carpenter, Granny Agami's seed selling store, as well as Pippin's shop and Corlin's general store. So we had a bunch of different people around here that we could go talk to and meet the denizens of Pebble Plaza and Paleo Pines. However, I went straight to Granny's shop and decided to buy a bunch of potato seeds so that I could get started on farming. However, Granny Agama was also kind enough to give us 10 carrots to get started as well. I checked out the notice board for any easy quests that we could get so we could get some extra money coming in. These were pretty much just go out, gather quests, talk to people, deliver items, that sort of stuff. They weren't really too exciting in terms of gameplay content and putting it through the video, so we'll probably leave most of those out, but they were just kind of quests that we got for some extra money. I took a look in Colin's shop as well and bought some more herbivore food, as Lucky was going to need more herb. And I made my way back to the ranch in order to finish building Lucky's pen. With Lucky's pen built, we now had a place to keep her happy and to give her food. This was the tutorial essentially for going forward. I also went ahead and started planting all of the new seeds that I got, the carrots and potatoes, as well as watering these seeds. The next morning, I woke up to find Lucky digging in the garden. She was obviously looking for something. What? I am not sure. However, we did find out. She had managed to find ourselves a flute. I was then given the tutorial on how to use the flute, as the flute would be a key factor in befriending the dinos found across Paleo Pines. There were 4 different notes, and I could hold these notes for a certain amount of time as well. I then also watered my crops for the day and used Lucky to clear out more of the debris located around the ranch. There was a crap ton of this debris, and we hadn't even discovered the extra areas. I also found a different sort of biome on the other side of these rocks alongside a bunch of different dinos. It was then time to use the flute to befriend a Gallimimus. So with Marie's help, I was taught how to befriend the Gallimimuses and play the flute in order to attract them to me so that I could feed them various vegetables and then eventually poppins, which would enable me to tame them, or befriend them I should say. Now the poppins were some weird contraption of a cupcake and a muffin, so I don't know. That's just what they are. They're just poppins. Bro, if only it was this easy, eh? Play a flute, feed a couple of carrots, some weird muffin thing, and we're good to go. Got myself my very own dino. Oh, we get to name it. Let's call it Mint. With my first Gallimimus befriended, I then made my way back into Pebble Plaza where I met Pippin, the creator of the poppins that would allow me to befriend these dinos. I needed to get in their good books in order to get all the poppins necessary. There were 5 poppins in total, and so far I only had access to 1 of them. After chatting to Poppin, I then returned back to Marlow to buy some more wooden rope fences, as I was going to need a pen for my Gallimimus if I did want to try and become friends with it, so that I could saddle it up and use it around the ranch. I extended Lucky's pen so that we could include the Gallimimus Mint into the pen, and after playing a little bit of a tune here and there, Mint was now finally at home alongside Lucky, and they were both happy. And spent the next few days watering some more crops, clearing out more of the ranch, as well as exploring more of Viridian Valley, finding pairs as well as where Owen lived and handing in some quests to him, and finding some more large dreamstones so that I could use those to get some more dinos. I also found the boulders that were blocking the way to the forest and another dreamstone. I then tried to befriend a Strichosaurus, as these guys were going to be key to destroying the boulders located around Viridian Valley. So I did the standard stuff by feeding it some carrots, soothing it to try and get it down into those green bars, and unfortunately it didn't like the crunchy poppin that I tried to feed it. So this was the only poppin I had available to myself, so I needed to try and find some more poppins in order to find one that the Stricker liked. Easier said than done. The next morning, Mint became a helper, and Mint had the ability to sprint and to sprinkle the crops with water. It was a sprinkler, I think that's what its type was called. So we put that to the test and decided to use Mint to water our crops, and boy oh boy was this going to be a massive time saver. Mint absolutely watered like 70% of our crops. So it's going to save us a whole heap of time moving forward when it comes to watering crops. Once that was done, we then decided to do some weeding in the garden and harvested up some of our carrots. We returned back to Granny Agami, who asked for 10 carrots, and presented her with the carrots, in which she gave me 10 more potato seeds and my carrots back. I made my way to Pippin in order to discuss a different type of poppin. I gave her a carrot, and in return she gave me some juicy poppins. Now I could use these to try and befriend the Strichosaurus, which is exactly what I did. I headed back out into the field to try and find one, managed to get it perfectly in that green line, fed it a juicy poppin, and lo and behold, would you believe it? We had managed to befriend a Strichosaurus. Now that all needed to be done was for us to become even friendlier with it, so that we could eventually put a saddle on it and use it to destroy the boulders around the valley. I spent some more time exploring Viridian Valley, and I managed to find these Cjthechesauruses in the back corner of the map. These guys look sick. I didn't actually end up befriending any of these at all throughout the entire 100 days. Kind of wish I did, however, I just felt like I didn't really need them all that much. I also discovered some Packies just behind a boulder here as well, behind the Cories. I also found a large dreamstone near these guys and returned back to the ranch. The next day I began watering the crops once again. I will be cutting future watering out of the video so you guys don't have to worry about sitting through it. This is pretty much the gist of it. It doesn't get much more exciting than this, so we're not going to be showing any more watering of the crops in the video. However, there were some extra goals that I wanted to accomplish to make it a bit more challenging. So those goals were to have 20,000 shells by the end of the 100 days, befriend 5 ultra rare dinos, and have all the dinos as helpers and have a nice looking ranch. So hopefully I can pull all that off by the end of the 100 days. I then got to work on trying to befriend Pearl and make her happier so that we could put a saddle on her. There's a couple of different things you could do: feeding them their favorite treats, playing them their song that they like, their friend call, as well as taking them around the Viridian Valley or the area they come from. I then went back to Corlin to sell a bunch of crops that I had grown because I needed some money. I only had 41 shells and I needed money to feed me herbivores. So carrots sold for a decent-ish amount of money, and I could buy a little bit of herbivore food with the carrots that I sold. So I did that and brought the herbivore food back. Alrighty, so we got given a quest from the guy, Owen I think his name is, to feed a potato to Mary's Euteraptor. So, well, that was quick to find out. Oh, I just got 30 potatoes from him. Tad bit overkill. Don't know what he was doing with so many potatoes, but I'll take them. After completing Owen's quest, I fed Pearl a clover, and it turns out she really likes clovers. So now we had discovered her favorite food, it was going to be a little bit easier befriending her. I also harvested up a bunch of carrots as well as some spring onions that I had got, and I played the friend call to Pearl once again the next day to try and get her to become my friend even more. I also extended out the herbivore pen so that they had a bit more space in them because I don't think they were happy, and each of the dinos has a particular space requirement as well. I also met a new person part of the PALEO and PINES Valley, and that was Orani, and she was responsible for crafting up new clothes. I didn't really like her vibe. She kind of was like hitting on me for the entirety of it, and I wasn't like the biggest fan of that. And she would call me like sweetie and cutie, and it was kind of like bleh. The next day I harvested up more of my carrots and spring onions that I had planted and did some more weeding throughout the farm. With the extra produce that I had harvested, I had completed Granny Agami's quest to present her with some carrots, spring onions and potatoes, and I gained the ability to cook food. Now, the food cooking mechanic in this game is a little bit funny. Sometimes you don't really know what you're cooking until you try it. So it was a bit of a tough thing, but we managed to get our items back and we found the cooking pot outside of Owen's house, and we decided to make some classic stew. Thanks to Granny Agami's recipe that she had provided us, we now knew the recipe for classic stew. However, looking back at this, I did not realize I could have also made some potato soup there as well. I don't think I ever made potato soup, but it didn't really matter. I had a quest to make some classic stew for Granny Agami, and that's exactly what I did. Putting all the ingredients in together and cooking it all up. Each food item also had specific effects as well that it granted. I returned to Agami with the classic stew and completed her quest, and in return she gave me the recipe for some carrot soup. On the way back I discovered this really cool looking Striacosaurus. It was brown with like a blue crest, so I soothed it to determine its rarity. Now, in this game, there are 4 different types of rarities. They are common, uncommon, rare, and ultra rare, and they depend on their color as well as their pattern. The next morning, I cleaned up their pens, scooping up some of the poo out of the way. I like how they always just flock to it. I also fed Pearl another clover so that we could try and befriend her a little bit quicker, and then I headed out to a Gallimimus herd where I found this really cool yellow looking one. Now, I called out to it, used its friend call, and I did manage to soothe it to find out that it was a rare Gallimimus. And so I went ahead and tamed it up with a Crunchy Poppin' as I had plenty of these guys, and this was my first rare dino that I had successfully tamed, or befriended. And I called him Sunray. I went back to the ranch and extended out the first pen. They were all going in the pen together. It was just what I had at the time. I didn't have crazy amounts of fences or crazy amounts of money to buy more fences, but Sunray was successfully included into the herd in the herbivore pen, and he had his own little spot. The next day, Pearl finally became a helper. With Pearl now being a helper, it was time to saddle her up and get her out into the field, but not before I had to shovel some shit. Pearl was saddled up, and now we had the ability to crush boulders. So I took her on a little bit of a test run around the farm just to get rid of some of these smaller boulders that were located around here. She did have a very low amount of stamina, so she wasn't really going to break a lot of them. I also went up to the cooking pot and made some carrot soup, as it was Marie's budding day, which is essentially her birthday, and you can become friends with the residents, so I gave her that, but not before I found a dreamstone located behind a bunch of other boulders down here in the valley. So I collected the dreamstone, as this would allow me to once again get more dinos when I eventually found them, and I dropped the carrot soup off to Marie, becoming closer friends with her due to the fact that I gave her some carrot soup. I don't know how I'd feel if someone gave me some carrot soup. I don't think I'd want to become best friends with them. I also discovered a Cjthecheesedj. I apologize profoundly. That was a really bad pronunciation. Cjthecheesedj. Yeah, I just could not pronounce this guy to save my life. He was also a smaller, different type of dino that we couldn't saddle up. Now, with Pearl in tow, I was able to clear the boulders just outside of the quarries, finally granting myself access to the packies up here, and I managed to research them and get them in my journal. I also catalogued the quarries into my journal as well, so that there wasn't a question mark there. I then also found a Postosuchus, who was our first, or technically second carnivore, but our first carnivore that we'd actually be able to put a saddle on. So I recorded him in the journal and found out that he was a waterer and a sprinter. I then headed back to the farm and gathered up all of my other crops that had grown up. It was mainly just carrots, as they had the quickest growing time of, I think, 3 days. So every 3 days we were harvesting up a bunch of carrots. I also scooped out more poo of the herbivore pen and fed Sunray some treats, and she really liked potatoes, thankfully, which is great. I then used Pearl to go ahead and start clearing some of the boulders around the ranch, as well as this was going to allow us access to more areas around the ranch. She just ran out of stamina super quickly. Sunray also became a helper the next day, which was great, and I harvested up some more spring onions. And then I released Mint into the ranch, as I now had Sunray and didn't really have a use for Mint anymore. And Sunray just looked cool. I also used Pearl to clear some boulders just south of where the Posto Sucus was, and this was going to grant us access to a brand new area just below here that we didn't have access to before. And in this new area, we had Ankies. Now, Ankies are responsible for being able to break down the giant logs that you've seen around the ranch and everything like that, which I think is kind of funny because I feel like the roles should have been reversed with the Ceratopsians having the ability to break the wood and the Yankees being able to break the stone. But I guess in terms of like progression for the game, maybe they did something that made them have to switch it. But it is still entertaining. Nonetheless, I went ahead and catalogued the Anki into my journal, hoping that we could finally be able to get ourselves an Anki to break some wood. Me and Pearl also cleared out the sandstone rock that was just a little bit south of the Ankies. However, there was another one in front of us that needed clearing, and Pearl was just not up to the task, running out of stamina just short. I headed back to the town board and delivered a lucky trinket, so that we literally just had to go across Pebble Plaza. Handed it in to Marlo, and then we had to give it to Granny Agami. Easiest 200 shells of me life.
I then headed over and made my way to tame an Anki, or befriend an Anki. I was going to need this guy to break open the logs located around Viridian Valley and in a couple of other places. So thankfully I did manage to befriend just a basic looking Anki, although I was pretty happy with the color of it, and we decided to call it Smasher. I also found a rare Triceratops who I wanted to befriend. I did like the look of the Triceratops slightly more than the Stryaxosaurus, so I studied this guy and he was a rare variant, so I decided to try and befriend him. Thankfully, he wasn't too difficult to befriend. I just went out ahead and went on a limb and fed him a Crunchy Poppin', and thankfully, Crimson was a big fan of the Crunchy Poppin'. I also found some Sclediosauruses just down the side here, and I studied them and added them to the journal as well. I then used Pearl to smash through the rocks that would take us back to our ranch, making a little bit of a shortcut here. I got back to the ranch and decided to expand the pen a little bit. I was going to try and fit Smash and Crimson all in this one pen together. I didn't really plan this through very well though, did I? They all needed a bunch of space and this wasn't really going to be very big enough. I also needed to buy a crap ton more herbivore food, as these guys would be consuming 5 herbivore food a day. We were going to rack up a pretty big debt. I also used Pearl to go ahead and smash the rocks and gain access to the Dapplewood Forest. Ooh, fancy. Oh, we got Stegos? That's a cool looking house. A broken windmill? With the forest now open, I had a bunch of new dinos to try and find and befriend. The first one, I found a Compy. I didn't bother taming this one up. I decided to just add it to my journal for future reference, just in case I ever needed to find it again. I also found some Troodons over here, and they actually looked pretty cool. And unlike Ark, these guys were super friendly and didn't try to destroy me every chance they got. I also found a small Dreamstone while wandering around and headed back to the ranch. The next morning, my house had miraculously been repaired. Thanks to the denizens of PALEO Pines, they went ahead and decided to repair it for me in payment for opening up the pathway to the Dapplewood Forest. Why they couldn't do that themselves, I'll have no idea. We're just the only ones talented enough to play a flute, apparently. I also harvested up a bunch more of our crops that were ready to harvest, mainly carrots and potatoes, because, well, that's all I really had the seeds for. I then found this sparkling dino out in the field, so I thought I'd try and take a look at it.
I don't think I've seen one of the dinos sparkle before. Ultra rare. Alright. Alright. Alright, we gotta get it. Hopefully it likes the crunchy ones. Yeah. Let's go. Ultra rare Cjthecheesedj. I'll take it. And with that, I had befriended my first ultra rare dino. 4 more to go. I feel like that's a sort of solid name for it. I then headed to Corlin and made it rain potatoes and carrots. The poor bastard didn't know what hit him. There were so many carrots and potatoes, but thankfully I got paid for them all.
I then found these new ceratopsians out here in the Viridian Valley. I didn't know what they were because I hadn't encountered them before, but when you actually unlock new areas, dinos from those areas can come into other areas, and that's what happened here with the Centrosauruses. So we soothed this guy, added him to our journal entry, and moved on. I also found a yellow one, which I wanted to take a look at the rarity of, just because I was considering taming it up, and it was only uncommon. Yo, here are the big boys themselves. Let's go. We've got some stegos here. These guys are massive. I mean, we could befriend run right now. Let's give it a try. Why not? No, it didn't like it. It wants the juicy one, earthy one. Oh. Yeah, no. Unfortunately, it didn't like the poppin', but I did find a large dreamstone, and I also found the theries hidden behind a log in the forest. I really wanted a bloody theory. The next day, I continued clearing the ranch with Pearl and Lucky, just trying to remove as much of the boulders and debris that I possibly could, so that I could make way for creating more pens. I left the ranch and found Marie and Owen fighting over a compy trying to trap it. Owen's pages did get scattered, so I had a new quest to try and track down 3 of Owen's journal pages in order to return them to Owen. Yo, has he got an aloe? Or is that a T-Rex? He's got one of the best looking dinos out so far. After stopping by Marlowe's house, I managed to find a Microraptor, and once again, these guys, super friendly like the Trudons. I headed back to Corlin, bought some more carnivore food, and brought that back to Marlo, who wanted food for his T-Rex. I didn't realize it at the time, but that was the T-Rex. He looks dope. He looks so cool. So I gave him the carnivore food, and in return, I only got an apple sprout. It was a lot of money for that carnivore food. As the day came to an end, I managed to find a baryonyx out near the hidden lake, so I soothed it and added it to my journal. The next day, I returned back to the forest and managed to find a couple new dinos. One of those being the Deinonychus. Now, this guy, super cute dude. Obviously, all the dinos are super cute, but these guys are just adorable. I also managed to find an Oviraptor, as well as another large dreamstone. I then found some more stego-looking dudes, aka Kentrosauruses. And these guys had some pretty wicked designs on them, and their patterns were kinda crazy. So I added them to the journal as well, and I was considering about taming them, but I didn't actually end up befriending it. I just soothed it and added it to the journal. The next day, I had more potatoes to harvest. I'm just a straight up potato farmer right now. That's literally my life. Just potatoes. I mean, potatoes are great, don't get me wrong, but, you know, there's only so many potatoes you can take before you get sick of them. I fed Crimson a potato, and it was Crimson's favorite food. I then returned to Pippin, and she actually gave me the option to make a new poppin, so I chose the fragrant one. Got a bunch of fragrant poppins as well, and finally, it was time for a new friend. So we saddled up Smash and went ahead and tested him out on breaking the logs, and just like that, he would break the logs. Now, obviously, he didn't have a lot of stamina, but that was fine, because we would eventually level him up and he would gain more stamina. Big man's got power. I also used Pearl a little bit to try and clear out the southern area of the ranch. It was then time to take Smash on a field test. So we broke the log that was preventing us from getting to the theries, and we now had access to the theries. Look at these beauties. Absolutely god tier, and they have the best sleeping pose I've ever seen as well. So I added them to the journal, and I also found an Archaeopteryx, which I added to the journal, as well as some Deinocheirises. These guys looked absolutely dope, and I wanted all of them. I just didn't really have the money to sustain it. But we also found the T-Rex. Let's go. We found the big fella himself. That looks like a Carno. No! What the fuck? It's a T-Rex! Yo, that's crazy. We just found the T-Rex. I was not expecting this guy to be here. Let's see if we can figure out what he likes before we soothe him. Okay, that somehow put him to sleep. He really doesn't like clovers then. That's nuts. We need to get this guy. We discovered this guy at the perfect time, just before the festival. So after discovering the T-Rex, I continued using Smash to clear some logs, where we found some more stego-like dudes. And these guys were Herosauruses? I think I said that right. I probably didn't. I apologize. So I soothed these guys, added them to the journal as well. I wasn't too keen on taming or befriending more of them yet, as I didn't have the money to sustain them or the pens. There was also the festival on, and this festival entailed you to fill it up with food. Once you filled it up with food, you would essentially gain tickets, and it would also attract dinosaurs of that tier. So by adding the potatoes, they were crunchy and earthy, so we would get the crunchy and earthy variant dinos. So any dinos that like that would be attracted to our food pile the next day. So this was a really good way of trying to find rare dinos. However, we weren't the luckiest and we didn't manage to find any good dinos. I headed back to Pebble Plaza, sold a bunch of stuff, and also purchased some more poppins, as I wanted to go on a bit of a taming, befriending spree and get a bunch of the new dinos we had found in the Dapplewood Forest. Alright, we got a new dino, guys. I think this is a Megalosaurus. Yep, called it. Alright, we're gonna just soothe it. Oh, we could have tamed him, actually. Well, too late now. And so I returned back to where the theories were and started testing out what kind of poppin it would like. I went with the fragrant poppin because why not, right? Let's give it a fragrant one. I feel like it wouldn't be one of the first two because the dudes are in that first. Oh, is this it? Did we get it? Yo, let's go. First try. Got ourselves a theory. Yo, how cute is this dude? I can't wait to ride you. I gotta pat him. Big Bird, you're coming with us. We'll give him a gooseberry. I feel like that might be relevant because it's in this area as him. Did you like it? Oh, yo, what the... That's perfect! Alright, so if you like the gooseberry, what are they? Fragrant and water. You know what? I'm going to go with fragrant again just because it's a new area. And we only got this one recently. Yeah, I think we got it. Did we just get a T-Rex? Yes! We just got a freaking T-Rex. Let's go! Oh, he's so cute. I like his patterning too. Oh, we're gonna pat him. Actually, you know what? We're gonna go Clifford. Oh, look at this dude. He's pink. I haven't seen these guys before. They're not iguanodons. A Rhinoceros. Okay. Let's soothe it. After the expedition to Dapplewood, I then headed back to the ranch and built Clifford a pen. I then headed out again and found another Baryonyx down near the hidden lake. So I wanted to try and tame this guy up and befriend him because he looked white and he had like a really cool color scheme on him. I fed him a fragrant poppin and he just didn't like it. He was only an uncommon color anyway, and it was a dragonfly, so he wasn't albino like I thought. The next day, I headed to Colin, sold a bunch of potatoes, and I needed to buy some carnivore food for Clifford. And I also needed to buy more herbivore food now because I had a theory to feed as well. I sold my potatoes, my spring onions, as much as I could so I could get some money. I had a decent haul of money, 2.5 grand, and I spent most of that on food. Alright, so they're all in a pen together. I need to get another pen for our theory. But Mario's currently closed, so there's not much we can do, but we're about to go into a new season now, so let's have a sleep. With the start of the new season, I was finally able to track down Marlo and buy a bunch of wooden fence ropes so that I could extend some pens and get some new ones. I also bought some more wooden gates and some more troughs so that I could place those obviously in the dinos that needed them. I also found this lost hat that I had been looking for like the entire 20 days that we've played so far for a little side quest. Because I was looking for a physical hat sitting somewhere, but it turns out they're actually buried in the ground. Nonetheless, I found the other hat that I was looking for now that I knew what I was looking for. I handed those in and got some extra money as well. And then I returned Owen's pages from the earlier quest that we had. Thankfully, I only needed 3 of them. They were very easy to find, so I didn't bother showing them through the video. But he got his pages. He was a happy chappy. I then found this rare Gallimimus out here, so I had to tame it. It had a really cool color scheme on it, and it was actually called a Portals Gallimimus, and I called it Starfall. I then released the collie that I had to tame up to get one of Owen's pages back into the wilds. Didn't really have a use for it back at the ranch, so I just let it go and moved it to the wilds. I then took Smash out and broke this log where there was some fairies hiding up here behind them. So I took a look at them, and there was a coffee colored one as well that looked pretty cool, but I was pretty happy with Big Bird. And then I also found these Desmatosuchuses. So I soothed them, added them to the journal to take a look at what they would do, but I already had a sprinter and a waterer, so I didn't bother trying to befriend these guys as well. But thankfully, I had pretty much filled out the entire Viridian Valley dinosaurs. I was just missing one species. Okay, I think this is what we were looking for. Find the parasaur for our main quest. Let's definitely find the parasaur, right? Apparently not. Find the Parasaurolophilus. After finding the parasaur wooden statue, I then found Marlowe's chisel next to a moon sculpture. Now, obviously, these were sculptures that had been crafted. We apparently did not know who crafted them. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But with Marlowe's chisel in hand resting on the structure, it was pretty clear. I then went back to the ranch and finished the night off by building the pen larger. After clearing some boulders, I was able to extend it a little bit, and everyone inside was happy. I then had to scoop some more poop out of the enclosure the next day, and I found a coffee-coloured Anki, which I was considering taming, but didn't bother. With Pearl in tow, I then ploughed some more land spots so that we could plant some more crops. Now, because Pearl had the ability to plough, we could use her instead of our hoe, which made life a lot easier. Eventually, though, once we would befriend Crimson, he would even do a better job than Pearl. Once that was done, I then fertilized all of the soil and planted a bunch of carrots as well, because when you harvest up certain crops, they change the soil type, and then in turn you can actually use that advanced soil type to plant newer crops, and you'll actually get seeds back from those crops. So after planting all of the seeds and watering all of the plots, we were good to go. I thought I'd give Smasher a turn at watering as well, because we hadn't used him yet. I just wanted to see if there was a difference. There wasn't really much of a difference. I then went ahead and fed Clifford a blackberry as I was trying to befriend him quicker. Thankfully, he did really like the blackberries, and so I thought I'd give it a try to Big Bird. Big Bird, not as impressed as Clifford. I then also found an ancient tablet. Now, these ancient tablets were going to be key to finding the parasaurs. I needed to find 4 of them in total, and I had just found my first one in the Dapplewood Forest. I also found another large dreamstone, which is going to be great for our growing collection of dinosaurs, and then I met Avery, the wandering trader. Let's go! Finally got Crimson as a helper now, which is awesome. So, I believe Crimson's essentially an upgraded version of our little Stryacosaurus. I'm pretty sure he can plow like 3 things at once. And he's a big boy. Look at him down there. Oh yeah, look at that. What an absolute beast. After testing out Crimson, I headed back to Pebble Plaza and found that there was a bunch of decorations that costed 0 shells. So naturally I decided to buy them all, as it was free decorations that I could use for my ranch. I also bought some more carnivore food and some more herbivore food. I then found another Rex in the spot. Now this guy was a rare Rex. I did want to tame him and I was considering using him, but we already had Clifford and Clifford was already getting befriended. So what I did was I befriended this guy anyway, but I released him into the wilds, because when you release the dinos into the wilds after befriending them, you can actually head to Marie and talk to her, and she will actually cause them to spawn back in, and you can simply go back over to them and kind of collect them again and bring them back to your ranch. So you essentially can still befriend everything you find. You just let them go into the wilds, and then you don't have to care for them, essentially. You don't have to feed them, scoop their poo, make a pen for them or anything like that, but they're also not your friend as helpers. So I thought that was fine. We also then just got Starlight as a helper the next day, so we now had another Gallimimus, which was another sprinter, which was great because we could use that to get around the map. This must be the communal shitting spot. Everyone is gathered around this single turd on the floor. And I honestly could not tell you why. You watch them all become happy after that. Yeah, look. Bunch of weirdos standing around the frickin' poo. What are you doing? The next day, Clifford finally became a helper. Now, Clifford was a stomper and a waterer, so we got a saddle on him and decided to test him out. Yo, look at the size of him. I kind of wish they had a roar. Yo, he's fucking huge. Only thing is, you can't really sprint with these guys. I mean, it kind of sucks, but at the same time, like, man, that's so badass. I kind of wonder if these guys do have like a bigger watering radius than some of the other dinos. He definitely moves a lot faster than the other guys do when they're full of water. I want to see his stomping animation. Oh my god! He just straight up trapezes on it.
How good!
The next day, it was Avery's birthday, so I decided to make some carrot soup for him as, well, it was just a birthday present, and that's how you go about getting friendship with them. When you get friendship with them, you get recipes and all that sort of stuff from them. So I presented Avery with his carrot soup, because who doesn't love a hearty carrot soup on their birthday? Delicious. After giving him the carrot soup, he was happy with that, and I went to Marlow to purchase some stone walls, which you could also use as walls for a pen. However, I wanted these so that I could separate some of the farming area from the pens. I then used Clifford to go out into the woods and clear some more logs as well, just to use Clifford, because he's a big boy. Found a small dreamstone, and I also found a windmill in the Viridian Valley that we could repair. I just needed to speak to Marlow. The next day, Star 4 was now a helper. I got excited because I thought Big Bird was the helper, but then I saw the name and I was sad. I was waiting for Big Bird as I needed Big Bird to clear the area to the desert. Finally, though, Big Bird became a helper and we could finally clear the fiber bushes located around the map. Oh, let's go. Big Bird, mate, you're massive. So we can cut through here, which we're not going to do just yet. First thing I want to do is I want to go to the desert. So with Big Bird in tow, I went out and decided to try and start cutting down some of the fiber. And this fiber was hella dense. I was so close to making it through. But unfortunately, Big Bird just ran out of stamina with one bush left to go. So I had to wait till tomorrow so the stamina was replenished. And I returned the next day, slashing through the final bushes that I needed to in order to get the entrance to the desert. And this is how we get to the desert. However, it had been collapsed in to Aracotta Canyon. Thankfully, there was a person on the other side that was going to help me, and this was Zara. In order to clear the debris from the collapsed pillars, I needed to get a collection of things. A bunch of stone, wood, fiber, planks, rope, some poppins. It was crazy. So I headed to Corlin, sold a bunch of potatoes and everything else. I got a shovel from Granny Agami that I need. Then Marie and Owen were having a fight with each other and they decided to not work together anymore. How sad. The two best friends tussling over a journal page getting destroyed. Such a petty little fight. I also ordered the 20 planks that I needed from Marlow, and they were going to take 4 days to get to me, unfortunately. With Big Bird and Smash in tow, I had managed to clear a path to another ancient tablet, and here it was just here. 2 down, 2 to go. Under a sea of stars, noise travels far. Weird. I then met up with Marlow to discuss repairing the windmills located around PALEO Pines. He pretty much said, well, if you've got the resources to do it, go ahead and do so. So I interacted with the windmill and I only needed stone, wood and fiber in order to repair them. I also traded in the fiber and shells that I needed for all the rope from Arani. She was making me really uncomfortable while I ordered that rope. I then found a rust rare Kentro, however I didn't have any poppins with me so I forgot to tame it. I then headed back to the ranch and continued clearing with Smash, clearing all the logs and debris that I possibly could with the dinos and their stamina that I had. The next morning I harvested up some crops that had fruited, some strawberries, and my bell peppers were on their last collection. These guys gave us so many capsicums, like we were getting crap tons. There was also the festival, another festival occurring, and this time we had to find a bunch of dinos in the area. It was pretty much the dinos that Avery traveled with. If we did this in a certain amount of time, we'd get a bunch of festival tickets. And you can see here, the dinos, they were really small, but they were kind of hidden all over the spot. So we just had to keep an eye out for them and find them and then click on them. Thankfully, I was able to complete it pretty quickly. I did get an achievement for it, and I did get a bunch of festival tickets for it in the process, which I turned into some items. I guess I'm going to grab this shenanigan table. It's the only thing I can purchase, so I'm going to order one of those. Alrighty, so this entire section has been cleared out now. Except for that log over there. There's a couple of logs over there. That's all cleared out though. I think I'm just going to do this for the next couple of days, get some extra resources, and wait for the rope to get to the desert. After clearing out that area, I picked up this chair that was just sitting here in the first half of the ranch, and for some reason, the area where all the fiber was changed to desert. No idea why or how that happened, but we now had a desert biome, and I genuinely have no idea what the hell happened here. But we now had some desert biome.
Let's go! It is now Cretimus, which I'm assuming is autumn/Christmas. Just a guess. We finally got our last delivery. Let's go. We can finally unlock the desert now. Wonderful. All right, let's take a look. I think I've got everything now that we can repair it. Yes, I did bring everything. Boom. 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 Okay, God, you needed a lot of stuff, didn't you? Done this? No, I haven't done the stone and the shovel. Done. Restore it. Let's go. Woo! Hello, lady. Oh, watch my Chad dude lift up this freaking pole. Go on, do it. Oh. I was fully... How am I done? Yeah, he 100% just Chad lifted that. Oh my God, what a beast. Oh my God, I need that in my life. Kefri. Yo, how cute. That's a Pentaceratops? Aracotta Canyon discover. Oh, aloes, let's go. Whoa, I don't know what those... Utahraptors? Got a whole village out here. We brought all our dinos, so I should be able to harvest or break anything that needs breaking. Oh, look how cute this dude is. I'm pretty sure that's an aloe. Yo, these dudes are super adorable.
I also found another large dreamstone while out wandering through the canyon, and I found a strange cactus person thing. Yep, no idea. Yep. Found another dreamstone, however, as well. I was going to need as many of these, especially with all the cool desert dinos. And then I met Freya, who is pretty much like an upgraded version of Marlow and sells a bunch of stone as well as desert-themed stuff. Met the general store guy that sells a bunch of decorations. Met the fruit seller as well. And then I found the Utahraptors and decided to add them to my journal as well. So sewed that down and it was dotted into the journal. I spoke to Zara and realized that you can actually share discoveries. However, I was going to need to find some fragments first. Then I found the third ancient tablet. That meant that I only need to find one more ancient tablet. However, the thing with these ancient tablets is the last one is scattered into 20 fragments that have been located around PALEO Pines. Now at this stage I had about 17 of them, I believe. I needed 20 to complete it.
We found some Dimetrodons. I want this dude. He looks actually like he's got a cool color. We're just going to get him in the journal. I'm going to have to come back and tame all of these guys. They're just too damn cute. Oh, here they are. Here are the little cuties. Yeah, we're going to tame one of these. Hell of a long song, though. Who cares? I'm trying to get this guy. Did I get him? I think I got him. Oh, no. Oh, that is a Carno. Oh, hello, big guy. You have some amazing colors. I don't know what these guys are. They look pretty cute too, though. I like the Carno. Looks like a bloody seagull. Oh, it's a Velociraptor. That makes sense. Oh, it's a Dillo. The next day it was Granny Agami's birthday, so I gave her some more carrot soup. Yummy. I also found a dreamstone that had been missing for the entirety of this run. That was in the first area right next to this large dreamstone cluster. I'm a fool. Alrighty guys, I found a Dimetrodon that I want. Oh yeah, he's got some cool colors on him. This black and red one, right here. We're going to tame him up. Hopefully if I can figure out what his... Oh! Hey, let's go. We got him. Juicy popping all the way. Yo, this guy's so cute. You know what? I'm going to go with the standard one, sales. Let's do it. All right, here we go, guys. He's just thinking with the perfect one. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try Fragrant one. I reckon Fragrant might be the way. If not Fragrant, probably Juicy, but it's going to probably stuff up here. I don't think we'll get him. He looks really cool, though. Nah, damn. Let's go. After befriending Blueberry, I headed back to the ranch and expanded Clifford's pen
a smidge for him, just so he could have a bit more space. He wasn't really happy with the pen that I had built him to begin with because it was a bit too small. So I extended it out a bit and increased it and encompassed this tree around it. I also built another pen alongside of it for Blueberry. It was only a temporary pen for Blueberry as I did want to put all desert dinos together in one section of the ranch. I also built a pen for Sails as well so that Sails could call a place home. And lo and behold, Sails was nice and happy in his little tiny pen. And Blueberry was okay. I think it was a little bit under, but that was okay. We'd get to work on that eventually. I also placed a stone that changed the biome to the valley for all my valley dinos, which was really good. I also harvested up a bunch of tomatoes that I had planted. I think these were the only crops that I had planted for a while. And then I changed Clifford's pen into the forest biome as well by using some decorations. Went back to Granny Agami buying some more seeds, and then I handed in some quests to Marie as well, as she was still fighting with Owen and I was trying to repair their friendship. I also handed in some quests to Marlo. I had a bunch of them to give to him, as well as that I was progressing his personal quest as well with the sculptures. Alright, here we go. I'm going to give it a fragrant pop and see if it likes it. Alright, juicy it is then. Let's... Oh, damn it. Bruh, it was eating the freaking pears. The pears are juicy and freaking fragrant. I gave it a juicy one. I gave it a fragrant one. It didn't like either of them. What does it want from me? Kind of left a sour taste in my mouth, so I don't know if I can be bothered taming it now. The little bastard ate all me food. I then found the seed vendor in Ariacotta Canyon, and they had a lot of seeds available. They were expensive though, so I didn't really buy too many, but I tried to buy the ones that I didn't really have any of or that were logged in the journal. I also repaired the windmill located in the Dapplewood forest, and by repairing these windmills you got the ability to craft certain things. So for example, by repairing this windmill I was able to make sugar now from fruits. I also repaired the Ariacotta Canyon windmill, and this windmill gave me the ability to make dyes using certain vegetables and fruits in the barrels located around it. I also befriended another cool looking Kano who I called Spot. However, Spot wouldn't be coming back with us to the ranch and I released him into the wild. I then also befriended a new aloe that was yellow. It had a cool color scheme to it. I thought it was a rare or an uncommon. It was just a sandy variant, but I was still happy to tame it. I just released that one into the wild as well. After I was done using it to repair the friendship between Marie and Owen, as they really wanted to see an aloe for some reason. So this kind of got them in their good books together, but they weren't completely happy with each other just yet. The next day I wanted to set up some new farm plots so that I could get some crops growing, so me and Crimson went ahead and started ploughing the fields together, setting them up in 3x5 squares. I then used my Gallimimus to water them and planted a whole bunch of seeds that I had bought. I then went to Corlin to sell a bunch of stuff, and I had about $2 grand sitting on. So I sold all that to Corlin, found another large dreamstone, and then I found this beauty. A storm-colored Allosaurus, and this color only spawns during thunderstorms. So I called him Nocturne after befriending him. And he's a rare type as well, look at that. I didn't even realize. He doesn't matter, he looks sick. Alright, we're taking this one back to base for sure. I also found a Storm Gallimimus as well, which I befriended, and this is another rare dino color scheme. So I brought this guy back to the ranch as well. It was then time for Marlo's art show. Due to the fact that nobody knew who was creating these sculptures, Marlo kept it all secret and hidden, and this was the opportunity for him to tell everyone that he was responsible for creating these sculptures found throughout Dapplewood. How no one picked up on it, I'll have no idea. Marlo was then pretty overwhelmed as everyone wanted commission work done from him, and he kind of panicked a little bit and ran away into the woods. I then went ahead and befriended a Utahraptor. This guy was a pinky colored Utahraptor. I thought he looked pretty cool, so I befriended it and called it Peachy. It was then time for a new festival where I had to race a stick down the river and say goodbye to something that I wanted to let go of. What do I want to let go of? My poo. There we go. I feel like that's a healthy choice. All I can see is my Rex's mouth. Alright, here we go. So we're going to race our stick to the other side, apparently. I feel like... Is that it?
Where's the race? Cool. That was easy. The next day I headed out to the seed vendor to purchase a bunch of new seeds. Okay, we're going to buy 1 rhubarb. 1 watermelon. Don't need wheat. Pineapple. 1 pineapple. We got lettuce. 1 goji seed. Oh my god, that's expensive. Oh. 1 corn. And I think that's all the seeds. I've got cauliflower. I've got pepper. I think 5 seeds, yeah. Bruh, that's all my money. How annoying. We better get freaking money back from that, I tell you what. I then spoke to Marie, who taught me about tracking the footprints, as I needed to track parasaur footprints in order to find them and complete the quest. However, none of the footprints were actually parasaur footprints. I made my way back to the ranch and plowed some new plots to plant the new seeds that I had just purchased from the desert trader. So I successfully planted them all and made sure that I had catalogued every one of them into my journal, and I watered them up with Clifford. Alright, here we go. Let's harvest up a bunch of these crops. Oofed! Oh, this is all potatoes. I knew that. Bro, look at all the potatoes we just got. I think are these potatoes as well? Yes, they are. Holy smackadoodles, that's a lot of potatoes. So we got a butt ton of potatoes. I then went ahead and restored some of the mysterious garden up near the quarries, and then I found another footprint. So I tracked this footprint to try and find where it led, and unfortunately, like I mentioned earlier, it didn't lead to a parasaur, but to a Cjthecheesedj. Okay, we just got a seed pot, so I'm assuming now our little dinos, so like our Dimetrodon and is it Cjthecheesedj? The other little dude can now, I'm assuming, plant seeds. Alrighty, so we've now got our Dimetrodon Sails helping out with planting. So you can see there, he should go in. Yeah, looks like he's grabbing some seeds and he's going to start planting them for us. Yo, kind of want this guy. He's got a really cool pattern and color scheme, and he's rare. Okay, so there's a bunch of parasaurs. Is that all we came out here for? It's funny, it's his birthday. It's Mario's budding day, but I can't do anything to him. I also have a quest for him that I can't do anything for. So, like, is he just, like, bugged or something? I can't do anything with him. After not being able to give Marlo a present, I headed back out to the desert and found once again another Carno. This guy was white and purple and blue, and I just had to have him. So I befriended him, and, well, obviously I released him back up into the wild, but we called him Snowflake. And then I found my second ultra rare dino. Dinosaurs. Yeah, it has to be. We've been waiting for one of these. See if we can get it. I've only got 3 of these poppins. I'm pretty sure it's a spicy one. Yeah, I think we got it. Let's go. That's an albino. That's got to be an albino. Ultra rare, baby. Let's do it. Let's go. I now had 2 out of 5 of the ultra rares that I needed for my goals. I then also managed to bring a Stormy Gallimimus here so that we could repair the friendship between Marie and Owen. They'd been tussling and fighting for so long that for some reason a Storm Gallimimus was the final key to getting them together. So they forgave each other and once again commenced work together to complete their book. Alrighty guys, so we have relayed the farm, ranch, whatever you want to call it. So quite a lot has changed around in terms of where everything is now and stuff like that. So let's just take you guys through a quick little look-sees at what we've done. So Lucky is now right next to the house, so we can easily access him when we get out there. We've got Starlight over here in a little tiny pen. She's eventually going to get moved into a bigger one. We've got our 3 big boys out here. Mainly because we're going to need our trike to do the farming, so I tried to keep all our farming dinos close to the farm area because this is probably going to be a farm area. We've got our galleys in another pen over here. We've got Big Boy Rex over here, Clifford in his own pen. I did make it a little bit smaller so that we could fit these 2 guys in here. We've got Big Bird and Pigment here in this pen here. So they're happy to go together now that they're in 100 square meters. And Clifford's still happy. He's got like 108 square meters. So he's still got quite a bit of space in here. Not as much as he had before, but that's fine. And then we come out here and we've got our desert dudes. So we've got Sails, we've got Nocturne, we've got Blueberry, and then we've got Peachy. So these guys are a little bit far out. They're going to be a little bit annoying to clean and stay on top of. And they're also not in their ideal biomes either, which I have to get onto. But that's fine. We're going to turn this area, I don't know what we're going to turn it into something. But yeah, this is the layout of the current farm at the moment. After reorganizing the ranch, I then found another artifact fragment. However, I was still too short of completing the tablet. This was pretty much the last thing that I needed in order to get the parasaurs to come back into the valley, from what I could tell anyway. I honestly do not know how I've only seen this now. Like, the amount of times I've run past this bloody formation and I've only noticed this breakable boulder now. I also continued repairing the mysterious garden with some plant life that I had gotten from Corlin that I had bought. Alright, here we go. It's a new year now. And it's my budding day apparently. So we're now in the new year. Let's go. Triasia 2. I then also received a broom from Marlow, which was going to be useful. I don't think I used it all that much though, but essentially it was just a giant demolishing tool. So I didn't have to actually go through and demolish things individually. I could just use this over the top of it and it would just demolish everything around it, which was great. Well, this is awesome. Just came up to Zara to hand in a quest and we've got an albino Utahraptor. This is freaking awesome. I'll take it. Let's go. All right, this should be a perfect feed. Let's do it. I'm pretty sure it likes crunchy. Yeah, there we go. Let's go. Another melanistic Utahraptor. Melanistic? Is that the right? Albino. Albino? Melanistic? Can't remember which one that is, but I'll take it. Alrighty guys, so Granny Agama has given us a quest to give her 5 tomatoes so she can give us a mango seed. Alright, cool. So we got a mango sprout. I'm assuming, yeah, plant the mango seed. After planting it, it completed the quest, and that was another part that I needed to find the parasaurs. Okay. Woo! We found another ancient tablet fragment. Let's go. We need one more, I think. One more? One more of the bastards. Oh man, this is killing me. Okay, and I've just found a footprint. Well, that was disappointing. Obviously, it definitely wasn't a parasaur. Alrighty guys, we have found an albino dillo. It's currently day 68. And we've got 4 ultra rares now, which is where we're very close to our goal. I'm just going to get this guy and then we need one more. Let's go. Got it tamed. No, never mind. I thought I had it there. Here we go. We got it. It trusts us. Awesome. Let's pat it. We'll get it back to base. After befriending the Dillo, I then finished restoring the mysterious garden, and I'd completely restored it, and we got given the Viridian Garden. Another landmark that we needed to find. We were still missing one more landmark, however. I then found another one of Marlow's sculptures, and this was the final sculpture that we needed from him. So it was a poppin for Pippin, I think, for some reason. And then I had finally befriended my Deinokairos and Nocturne. So I saddled them up and got them used. So Nocturne was a sprinter as well as a waterer, and he seemed much faster than Lucky. How glorious of a runner is Nocturne. Look at him go. I don't know if he's actually faster than Lucky or not. I feel like he is slightly faster. I then finally discovered where the last ancient tablet fragment was. Right in front of me this entire time. Literally, you can see Marie down there. We had visited this spot so many times and I'd missed it every time. Nonetheless, it was time for the festival again of the new year. And this time I wanted to chuck a bunch of fragment food in there so that I could attract the fragment-based dinos. So mainly like Rexes, Theries, all that sort of stuff. So I chucked in a bunch of saffron, added that, and then I returned to Zara to discuss the fact that I discovered all of the ancient tablets. She restored the tablet and we finally had the passage of time that we needed. So she restored the tablet and I headed to it, and it was time to play a song to try and bring the parasaurs back in the middle of the night. After playing the flute multiple times and playing longer notes, it was unfortunately met with silence and Lucky was not happy. Well, that's a bit mean. Oh, here they come. Yo, wait, they look massive. Lucky's out of here, see you later. Here we go. Yo, there's a big ass parasaur right there. There's a whole heap of them. And they're so much bigger than Lucky. Lucky's tiny. Who do we want to befriend? I kind of like this red striped one. Yeah, this one right here. I reckon we try and tame this one. Yeah, let's go. Got ourselves a new parasaur. These guys are so much bigger than Lucky. So after restoring the parasaurs to the valley, I now needed to try and find one more ultra rare dino, as well as get 20,000 shells. However, to do this, I wanted to go ahead and tame up some smaller dudes so that I could use them on the ranch, and that's exactly what I did. Taming up an Oviraptor and a Deinonychus to bring back to the ranch. I don't know who we're talking. I'm assuming we're supposed to be talking to the parasaur, but the parasaur is not here. I don't know. I don't know where it is. So we've still got about 20-ish days or so. So what we're going to do, yeah, we've got a whole another month. So we're going to try and finish our other goals of making the farm ranch look really nice. Also got to hit our goal of 20,000 shells. So we've got a lot of work to do still, and I also want to try and automate everything so our dinos can just take care of everything. We just have to fix up our dinos and that's it. So we'll see how we go. On returning to the food pile at the festival, we found baryonyxes flocking towards it. So I befriended two of the baryonyxes, a green one and an orange one. I also befriended an Archaeopteryx as well, and Marlow revealed his final sculpture. Denying everyone's requests for commissions, he designed this final sculpture as an interpretation to the people. Yeah, no idea either. I then finally befriended a Pentaceratops and returned them back to the farm. Alrighty, so this is our new farm area. So this covers a 5x4 radius. So we're going to be using that to obviously plant everything. So you can see everything is planted here. I've got to get another one of those so we can set it up here. Next day, I befriended two new Troodons, this orange one and this blue whitish one. I then ventured over into the desert, purchasing some watermelon seeds and headed into the desert section where the time had come. I had finally found my 5th ultra rare, a melanistic aloe. He was all black with no patterning. I was so excited to get this guy. This means we have completed our challenge of getting 5 ultra rare dinos. I think he's a melanistic. Oh, you bloody beauty. You bloody beauty. New aloe. I think we have 3 aloes now. Only one of them at home. This guy definitely deserves to stay. We've already got a perfect name for him. We're going to call him Midnight. If I can spell correctly. Boom. Ultra rare or black aloe. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty cute seeing them harvesting up all the crops. Like straight up. Wait, why aren't these? So after those crops were harvested, I planted a bunch of watermelons, waited for them to be ready to be harvested, and harvested those up as well. And here we are, guys, day 100 in Paleo Pines. Now let's take a quick little tour of the ranch and show you guys what we've done. That side over there I have not touched. I've been trying to figure out what to do. I was figuring I could probably put the farming side over there, but don't know. I kind of like it here with all the dinos. We'd have to rearrange everything. So these guys are pretty much the same. We've got the galleys. We've got a bunch of our other herbivores in there. We've got Clifford at the top here. We've got Big Bird and Pigment here. Pigment is saddled up as well. Became a helper. We've got our little dudes over here. Our Archaeopteryx, our Deinonychus, and I believe there's something else in there. Maybe an extra Troodon? Microraptor? I can't remember. Down here, we've got Sails, we've got Nocturne, we've got Blueberry, we've got Tangerine over here as well, who's also a helper. And this here is our little Protoceratops petting zoo. There was a path running through it, however, I changed the size of it and it deleted the path and I didn't get any more paths, unfortunately. So this is our little petting zoo for these guys. It's a huge enclosure for them, but hey, they're happy. We've got our 2 albinos and Peachy at the back here in a pen together because they can have that many because they're a pack member. Pack? Yeah, pack. And then back here we've got our 2 Troodons, Seafoam and Dirt. And I figured they just look really cool. I really like the Troodons. Back here we've got Midnight. He's all alone and he's lonesome, unfortunately. He also doesn't have a desert pen. But he's back here. And then this is our Parasaur pen as well. Now, I did try to tame up more Parasaurs. However, they weren't really any ultra rare cool coloring ones. So I decided to just stick it with these 2 for now. So Lucky's got a friend back here with Stripey, and I think their little pen is really cool too. Well, it's a big pen as well. So I did that up in the terms of getting more parasaurs, and it was just going to be a big pen for them. I do wish we could get trees that could get planted, like decoration trees like these guys, because I think that would make it look really cool. Starlight over here, and that's pretty much the entirety of the ranch. Now, we have a bunch of crops to sell. We harvested up a bunch of watermelon. We're going to sell pretty much all our crops to see how much money we have and see if we can hit that goal. Oh my god, our watermelons sell for heaps. Although, to be fair, their seeds were rather expensive. Let's just sell all of that. I think we definitely hit our target. 100% we hit our target of what we need. We need to go to the desert to sell at that shop, but I think we're going to hit that 5k mark for sure. 20k, sorry. That 20k mark for sure. Here we go. Look at that. Easy. 10k easily hit. Hell, we'd probably even hit... Yo, these sell for 29. We have 29 of these. Bruh. That's 30k. No, that's 40k. Hell, we'd have 50k even with all of these. I'll take it. 50k, we smashed that goal out of the park. I was only expecting 10k. Watermelons, OP. That's crazy. Well, everyone, that is going to conclude our 100 days in Paleo Pines. Honestly, this game's a lot of fun. I really would recommend it, and I'd definitely check it out if you get the chance to. The dino designs are looking sick, and it's just a cute little fun farming game that you definitely should get into. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe down below for more, and I'll catch you in the next one.